Guten Morgen, War Correspondent, or shall we just call you Lieutenant Warco for short. It's true, we have spotted a couple ships. Unfortunately, not the kind that we are going to be able to engage, but that's also a fortunate thing because we are well within visual range now. So it looks like we have a Dutch ship, and then another ship here which is running with lights, but has not, in very strange ways, not hoisting any flag. Now I'm just going to leave it alone because if it's with a Dutch ship and it's with its lights on, I mean, I don't really know what to make of that other than to leave it alone. But this is probably also a good time for us, because we don't really mind getting spotted by neutrals. They aren't going to react directly, but probably the nefarious neutrals are reporting our position to merchant ships in the surrounding area. Sometimes those merchant ship captains look after each other, despite national borders. So we're going to go ahead and test our ship's ability to dive. I've already pinged, and we have a depth of 38, I think, is... Well, let me see if that's just true. We'll ping again.
Yes, sir. Depth under keel is 3-8.
Very good. So, clear the bridge, and let's dive.
Periscope depth.
So, this has not happened so far away from the point where we left our destroyers. Actually, let's take a look at our ship diving, because it's one of my favorite things. Oh, and there it is. The turtle, or... Okay, I know it looks more like a frog, but we can pretend it's a turtle. And I like it. I really quite like it. The fancy dressed turtle. I am, after all, drinking tea. Really delicious tea, too. Tortuga the Tea Man. That's what my crew refers to me as. I even drink it when I'm on the bridge. Some people wonder if I'm maybe just a British captain in disguise. But nope, we are quite loyal. I say that hesitantly. Loyal to our mission as a German U-boat, but not to the Nazi cause, that's for sure. And there she is going under the waves. I really like that, especially in really clean, calm waters. It's really cool to watch this boat dive. And at this point, these ships are probably thinking, oh my gosh, we're about to die. But we're going to let them live. So it doesn't look like anything is leaking in the ship. Very good. Now we have probably another 28 meters under the keel that we're safe to dive at. Let's just bring her down to about 23. I don't want to risk scraping the bottom. Now, I am going to disregard any kind of external camera information we gather. So if I find out that the bottom is like 2 feet away, well, it's too late already. But we pinged the bottom. I'm pretty sure we're quite okay to run this deep.
New message received.
I just really like to watch our ship underwater. It's so smooth and elegant. And I kind of like the design of the Type 7 the best. Although the Type 9, I really like that one as well. It has the very low profile top. But in some ways, I kind of like the amount that the Type 7 juts out. Anyways, this isn't incredibly smart in terms of fuel economy, but we'll just go ahead and run silently. I mean, not run silently, but we'll run under the waves for a little bit. Just a little bit below the surface. Far enough below the surface that you probably wouldn't be able to see us even if we went right underneath of you. I mean, unless you were really paying attention or the sun was shining just right. I think that we usually have... I think our submarine top is usually 5 meters above where this is at. So that means we're about... I mean, we're at least 15 meters below the surface, which means 40 to 50 feet for... Well, about 50 feet, really, for those who don't know what meters. And you probably won't be able to see us unless you were underwater with some kind of goggles, swimming goggles or otherwise. Yep. All right, so that's enough about this. Let's go to the task at hand, which is getting into contact with some kind of ships. Looks like she's going to hold... We don't even have hydrophone bearings on these guys, which is natural because they aren't running any engines. Visibility is pretty good through our observation scope, and I honestly don't know if observation scopes were used in this manner underwater. I'm pretty sure they were not. There's almost no point to this. But in this game, it actually works out all right. If you're this far below the surface, you can actually view surface ships, just as you might be able to if you were swimming underwater. You'd be able to see ships on the surface. So, but I'm more interested in actually just going to periscope depth and probably surfacing as soon as we're beyond these ships. So let's go ahead and speed up time compression a bit more. And it's full daylight now, so
Message received.
we're getting messages. I don't think we're high enough. I think you have to be at the most decks awash, but probably, you know, on the surface to receive radio messages. So I'm going to ignore these radio messages for the time being. It doesn't show our radar. It shows only the blank spot where the radar should be, right here. So I guess, although sometimes when you appear above water, the radar is mysteriously there. In like really rough waters, the waves will dip and the radar's there, and then when the water goes back up, the radar's not. So I'm assuming that we don't have access to the radar while we're underwater. We'll just run for a little bit, get the crew used to being underwater. Also, it's very pleasant to run underwater if it's in harsh, rough water conditions. The boat is much more stable, obviously, underwater than on the surface. The waves are pushing it around, so. Okay, just up scope, observation. Let's see if we find anything. Probably not. There they are, way over there. Coastal vessel and coastal vessel, I'm assuming. This one's not being reported as anything. So maybe it's just an artifact for the game. Or maybe it's scripted to be here for some reason. I'm not sure. I'm gonna go ahead and mark its coordinates anyway. We might even check if it's here on the way back. Very good. So we'll run a little bit longer underwater, maybe until we're about 8 or so kilometers away, maybe 9. And once we get to that point, we'll surface the boat. Okay, surface the boat. Didn't really run into, we only depleted our battery charge by about maybe 10%, so we were doing okay. Now we can run on the surface a little bit longer. Let's get our lazy watch captain up there. Sorry, watch officer. And now let's speed into the future. I'm gonna go ahead and clean up this compass mark. We don't need that. And onward. So probably 1024 is not a good compression to run at. 512 is the most I'll run at, but I almost never run at 512 even. I usually run at 256. Just for you guys to speed things up by a little bit, because I don't have too much to talk about. I mean, I can probably run my mouth for a long time, but actually it would have been nice to get some kind of patrol grid in the BFs, because then we could have gone through the channel, which is always very exciting. I managed it last time without any hitches. In fact, I was able to sink a few ships in the channel itself. Maybe one or two ships, not a great amount. And my luck so far in this campaign, in this career, has been poor when it comes to merchant ships. I've only encountered merchant ships that are like 2,000 tons or less, which is not spectacular. You usually hope to run into the medium cargo ships, which are around 5,000 tons. And I just haven't done so. So I've sunk many ships, but unfortunately they didn't have the highest. Oh, okay, ship spotted. Oh, and it's a warship. Let's go to periscope depth immediately. I'm gonna turn into the ship so that we try to limit our profile even while we're diving. And this is a warship, so I'm not gonna use external camera. Let's see if they're stationary. What the bloody hell? Estimated distance to target. Let's kind of zoom out a little bit so I don't have a very good prediction. But I want to have like a rough estimate without looking. Yeah, they're darn close. How the hell did we not see them? Up observation scope. Oh, it's nighttime. Okay, so it's 2100. That explains a little bit. They're about right here. Come on, go down. Go down, you damn ship. No, they should be around here. Okay, now we're at 10 meters, so I'll go ahead and... It won't matter if we're turning anymore. Let's look for her. Where is she? She's probably closer to 320, 330, somewhere around here, I'd imagine. She's stationary, so we're not going to get any kind of hydrophone readings on her. I'm actually... Oh, minor warship. What the hell is a minor... We somehow managed to stop with them directly in front of us. I don't see any lights, but warships not known to run with lights very often. Down observation scope, up attack periscope. It's probably good enough. Minor warship. I don't know what that means. Zoom into 10x. I don't see it. However, warships being warships, let's go ahead and close in, and perhaps this will be our first action of the career. This may be, well, I mean, I've already been in it, but the first action that you will see as the Warco along for the ride. I mean, I have never encountered this situation before, so I am really interested in what's going on. I really can't see anything, and they should be really close too. Supposedly, God, we're like right on top of them. You could certainly launch a torpedo at distance and hit. I'm suspecting that they saw us, and the fact that they aren't reacting is, my guess, means that they actually are neutral. But the best way to verify that is just to get a little closer. Alright, well, let's get a little closer. We obviously can't see right now, so down scope, and we'll do a little bit of time compression. Maybe I'll pop back up around here. Just zoom ahead a little bit. Alright, let's try this again. Slow down a little bit so our periscope doesn't show as much of a wake when we increase, when we pop it up, because it does create a bit of a wake by itself as well. The water's so glassy right now that we could definitely use our deck guns, or even our flak guns if this is a really minor ship that we actually want to sink. Okay, there we go. So we should be like right on top of it. Oh, I see it. To the left a little bit. What the hell is it? That looks like the British flag. Identification is so difficult. Oh my gosh. Minor warship. What does that mean? I've never heard this before. Well, the longer we have our periscope up, the easier it is for them to detect us. We're so close to them, though. Damn, we're probably like 2 kilometers away, is my guess. 2.4. Alright, downscope. Let's get a little bit closer and see if we can see the flag. I don't know what the typical situation is with this. Warships. Let's just get a little bit closer. I can almost see the flag, so let's go a little bit closer. I'm going to slow down to like 1 knot when we surface, just so we have almost no chance of being detected. But we're so close. It's pretty dangerous. And if they are British and they detect us, we have no place to go. We can't dive. Periscope depth is probably about all we have. Maybe... Okay, it's a little deeper here. We could probably go down to like 30 meters, but the depth charges, even in the very beginning of the war, they're used to targeting you at like 50 meters and less. And we can't get any deeper than 50 meters. I'm sure we can't go to 50 meters. Okay, here we go again. I set for 1 knot, but we're not quite there yet. This has probably been mentioned to you before, or you probably already know this, but just to let you, or to remind you, or to remind myself, I'm never going to go 0 knots because submarines had a very difficult time keeping depth when they didn't have any propulsion, because they relied a lot on their dive planes, which relies on the water over the submarine. Just like in the same way, it's hydrodynamics, which is exactly the same as aerodynamics, but water instead of air. So obviously, the spoiler on a car, or like the aerodynamics of a car, are not functional. Holy cow, we're so close. They're not functional if you're not moving, and the same thing in the water. Okay. I might have to go to external camera just to see what this is. Oh my gosh, I can't see what it is. It looks like a floating dockyard, to be honest, but that looks... The thing is, the British insignia would be white for the warships. It would be red for the merchant ships, and this claims it's a warship. Okay, well... I have no idea what this is. How can it be anything but British, though? What would anything but a British ship be doing over here? I can't see the damn flag. I can't see it. I don't know what to do. Why is it also not appearing? Wait, what? What the heck? Are there multiple? I mean, this is pretty wide. It's so weird, it doesn't appear directly. Okay. So northwest is its direction. Well, can we risk getting much closer? Let's not get within 1. Okay, we're at 2 right now. That's not bad. Let's go a little bit closer, down scope. We're going pretty slow. You can see that our engines... Oh, I don't want to see the ship. But our engines probably aren't turning very much. You can see that they're barely rotating. I don't think they would be causing these bubbles. Usually at 50 RPM, which is the really slow speed for a German submarine. That's your like make no noise setting. We can actually see the RPMs here as well. Somewhere. I know I can see it. There's an area where you can look at this. That's the dive planes, I think. Yeah. Oh, starboard engine RPM. I can't read it though. Oh, I see. It looks like it's in between. Yeah, it's about at 50. If you're looking at this, this is 0 and this is 100. Red means in reverse. So it's right about at 50, which is, like I said, the optimal, the place where you don't really make any noise at all. So we'll go ahead and pull a little bit further forward, and this is how I like to play this game. I really like a relaxed, slow, calm. What a U-boat captain would actually do is just inch forward ever so slightly. In fact, probably a lot of U-boat captains at this point would give up the chase. It's not worth it. If we can't identify it, we can't risk being spotted. But I am going to risk being spotted just so we can have the glory of our first kill. Oh boy. Minor warship. I just can't at all identify what this is too, because it has all these hooks and things. Okay, well let's just go to the book. What the hell could we be looking at? Downscope. What the hell could we possibly be looking at here? A small depot ship. Yes, this is absolutely what we could be looking at. A small depot ship. Aha! And it hasn't spotted us. I don't think it's a floating dock. I'm almost sure now that we have located a small depot ship. Hey, this is 6,000 tons of warship. This would be a great way for us to start off our patrol. So let's go ahead and we're going as slow as we can. What's our distance? This is the cheaty way. Like I said, I'm not identifying things. Let's go ahead and identify with the normal mechanic, which is to use your, I can't remember, stedimeter? I don't know what it's called. It's the way you range ships using the periscope with the to the top of the mast. So let's lock this and range it. It's hard to see, but probably about here. Why didn't that work? What is going on? Okay, this. What the heck? Why won't it let us rearrange it? I've never encountered this bug before. It's not letting me do it. Maybe, I think, what is it for warships? We're supposed to do it off of the boiler. It's not doing anything. Well, this is a frustrating first episode. Okay, so we're going to do things the cheaty way then. I'm just going to go ahead and look at it. Let's just take a look at how visible we are. Oh, we are so invisible. That is so difficult to spot. The moon's out tonight, so let's just take a look at this ship. Actually, she's pretty hard to spot. Which way is our periscope going? Okay, so this is the direction of the ship. I really can't see her. Maybe I can barely see her. And I'm so glad we didn't sink her. I'm not sure if we sank her it would be a bad thing because she is running without lights at night. And any ship that's running without lights at night, you can assume is an enemy target. Anyways, that's terrifying that we almost sank this ship. But they would have deserved it. It's obviously a Dutch ship now, but they didn't illuminate that with their lights. We're not at war with the Dutch, so what the hell are they doing out here, though? So let's downscope, navigator, return to course, and plow ahead. Oh yeah, we should probably go some speed other than this. So we'll go just 1/3 for now. Take ourselves out of harm's way. Just leave a mark, it was like right here. Compass away. Okay, yeah, this is probably good already. Okay, surface the boat. This doubles as a chance for us to check our hydrophones for any other contacts, but nothing. So I'm not going to worry about these actually. I might as well just clear all. I'm not going to worry about these stationary ships. They're confusing, but I can't say that they aren't historically accurate because I don't know anything about the Dutch Navy, about what they were doing before their entrance into the war. So let's get our lazy watch officer back on the bridge. And you can see that these guys are actually losing quite a lot of maintenance. Now the tricks I know are you can do very quick things like this. I usually leave these stern diesel people are all going to just be rotated. So let's see, these guys are down to this. So what we're going to do is quickly transfer. You can click on engines and then right click on diesel and it transfers them all there. I'm going to click like that to sort these guys out, but I need people in diesel engines. So immediately I'm going to take the people from the stern quarters who are all fresh, and these all have exactly 8 units. So I have an identical, like a carbon copy group, 2 engine petty officers and 6 sailors. Same thing here, 2 engine petty officers and 6 sailors. So we just go click, click, and move these guys to stern. So this is what I do the entire length of the patrol. It's something I developed because I got so sick of micromanaging all this stuff. So that means I only have to micromanage the bridge and the command room sonar radio, which is not so bad. Also, another note, as soon as you do manage this, you want to take these guys back out of the torpedo room because they lose their endurance a little bit faster in the torpedo room than they do in the electric engines room. So I'm not really sure why they're not loading a torpedo, they're just hanging out, but that's just the way it works. let's get some fresh guys on the watch. Rotate some people. And this is the annoying part. And we're good. So you can see that 4 fresh soldiers, even though I have this torpedo man, I probably don't need him. I can get a normal petty officer. But the torpedo guys, honestly, you don't need them. You don't need them to be fresh. You very rarely need to load torpedoes, so I probably won't take any extras beyond these 2. Or no, there should be 3 total. What the heck? Oh, I see, one's here. Yeah. I probably don't need any more than 3. After that, let's go ahead and zip on to the future. Let's keep it at 256 to be fair. And then I go ahead and run F512. So we'll be going nice and slow. This is going to help us for 2 reasons. One, we're going to be slightly less visible. We won't leave as big of a wake. We're just moving slower, and slower targets are just harder to see in general. But 2, it's also going to conserve our fuel, which I already talked about. But it does help, especially when you're worried about being detected by airplanes, to be going a little bit slower because of the wake. I'm not sure if it's modeled well into this game, but in real life, airplanes were more likely to detect the wake of a submarine than the submarine itself. They would find that's how you identify most ships, by seeing the wake. The actual ship is usually only like a third or a quarter the size of its actual wake, so it's a lot easier to detect something that's 4 times larger. You can see this if you ever look at aerial photography from World War II about ships, that their wake is just very visible from a long range. Now that it's daytime, I am going to go down to 256 because I am a little worried about being detected. Yeah. And again, we don't have much room to dive here. I don't want to do a... what? Oh, I don't want to ping the depth under keel, because that is something visible. I mean, sorry, audible. And if anybody in the area was checking their own hydrophones at the same time, they would hear this ping. And although that wouldn't probably be enough for them to immediately know where we are. Okay, dive to periscope depth. Are they coming at us?
Periscope depth.
Observation scope up. I think they were coming at like 3:30. Okay, get us down quickly. They're coming in. Oh god, they're coming in from 270. I don't see. Oh, there they are. Oh my god. Flank speed. Down scope. Knuckle. This could be a very short campaign, my friends. This could be a very short campaign. They're dropping bombs. Oh my gosh. Woo! Well, we are lucky sons of guns. That is there, and if I hit F12, you can see that... Where did it land? Well, it didn't hit us, thankfully. Completely missed us, but that was too close for comfort. I think it landed just slightly... what direction is that? Oops. Whew, just slightly northeast of us. Okay, this is exactly what the observation scope is for. So now that we have been discovered, there's probably going to send some warships to patrol this area. So what we're going to do is detour a little bit. I'm going to ping the bottom because they already know we're here. It's better for us to just get this information now before warships come by. Let's go ahead and drop down, excuse me, to about 40. And I think we're good here. They saw us heading northwest, and now we're going to head basically north-northeast. So this will hopefully throw them off in their ranging. And we're going to go just ahead normal, ahead standard. I mean, I need to keep the engine low enough that we're able to hear on the hydrophones if other engines are coming towards us. So, okay, well, hopefully our hydrophone operator does his job well. and we'll just go ahead and proceed like this. Alright, so it's been, geez, already quite some time. About 30 minutes, and we have not reported any contacts. So I think we'll go ahead and move back. We'll head this way. A little bit away from our original patrol, but that's fine. Like so. And I don't want to surface the boat quite yet. We're going to run under the waves for maybe a couple of hours, just to be extra safe. So maybe around 1 o'clock we'll pop back up for some tea for lunch. We are depleting our batteries pretty severely though. And I do want to come up a little bit because I don't know how shallow the water is going to become. So we'll bring up to 30 meters. In fact, right about now is a good time for us to surface the boat. Whoops. Okay, so we're on the surface now because I did that at high time compression. Get the watch officer up. And let's see if anything's around. Aircraft are the biggest threat to a U-boat, so we have to be pretty cautious about those. Now I made one mistake. I didn't go to periscope depth and first examine everything with my observation scope first. That's a mistake. But it's one that we survived this time, so we got lucky. Okay, so on we go again. I was hoping to get something we could sink in this first, well, second episode now. And this is sometimes how things go, though. You don't always encounter something on a patrol. If you've seen Das Boot, again, not to mention it, I'll probably mention it at least once an episode, but if you've seen it, you know that life on a submarine is a lot of boredom. It's like 99% boredom with 1% insane, intense action. So that's what we can expect as well. Time to have a sip of tea. So we are going to be patrolling really close to Scapa Flow. I'm really happy with our weather, by the way. I actually prefer this high visibility because we could use our deck guns, which I really like to use. Let me quickly just ping. Now that it's nighttime out, I feel a little safer pinging. Be much more difficult to spot us. So it is quite deep in this area. That's really good to know. Yeah, that's really good to know. And visibility is still pretty good. It's only 550, so the sun hasn't quite set, although it's below the horizon, it appears. I can't tell if it's just behind a cloud. No, I think it's below the horizon. Yeah, this is November, isn't it? So that makes sense that it's going down pretty early now. Okay, well, back to speeding away. And maybe around this point, we're going to check hydrophones. See if we have any contacts. Go a little bit further. Okay, prepare the ship for diving. We don't see anything, I'm assuming. So let's go down to periscope depth. In fact, we don't really need periscope depth, just make our depth 15 meters. And let's see if we hear anything. Can't see anything. Can we hear anything? Maybe stay down for a couple minutes. 1910, 1911. Okay, let's do one quick change of course. Let's go. Let's go west, just in case something's right off of our stern. We won't be able to hear it. So we are turning now, and now we should be able to hear anything off our stern. So okay, surface the boat. Return to course. Full speed ahead? Well, not really. Full time compression ahead. Well, I promised some kind of contact with a British a British vessel of some kind. I would be so loath not to be able to deliver on that promise. But I don't mind making these episodes a little bit longer because they're kind of very relaxing affairs for me. I think this isn't quite as intense. Even Advanced Tactics was more like, hey, let's make sure we get our moves in. But the game plays to you, so it's not turn-based. You have to run it. So you just run it, and then the game unfolds as you're watching. So 5:12 for a little bit. 10 o'clock at night. Good time if we could spot something. And it looks like it's pretty deep around these parts. I'm just going to ping again. 77. This is great. This is another good area right in here. Right in between Aberdeen and Blythe. But I don't want to go that close just because I'm nervous about aircraft. Aircraft are really starting to become a problem close to the English island itself. You can see that we're well within the area of air cover, but we're also in this darker gray area, which indicates higher merchant ship travel areas, high naval traffic. That's the better way of saying it. So.
New message received.
And we have a new radio message. Actually, there was a few radio messages that I was underwater and I didn't read, so... Wait, why was that in English? That's very strange. Okay, so let's see. Have we seen this? All U-boats be warned. Craig's Marine Service was operating... Yeah, off Blythe. We knew that. We saw that, or I saw it. This is new. Craig's Marine Surface units operating in the North Sea off Blythe. That's so cool. We're very close. But this was on the 18th at 8. And I'm pretty sure that was this morning, or maybe even after that. Okay, this is interesting. U-43 is... What's your position? Not that we get involved in Wolfpack tactics, but it would be nice to know the position of this convoy. Not today, I suppose. Alright, well, let's keep pushing on. Hopefully we can find some kind of ship. Boredom setting in. I'll probably only go another 3 minutes, so we might have to... we spent all that time trying to get close to that Dutch ship. Running without its lights on. I can't just... Come on, man. Don't do that to me. It's about to be daytime, so I'm probably going to drop this back down to 256. And you can see why there's a big advantage to being able to pause recordings and advance forward in time. Because then I would just be able to do 256 while drinking my tea and having a good time about it. But I feel a little bit more pressure to post actual content when, you know, everything is recorded live. I will try to get that software working, but I went through it like 3 hours and it kept crashing. I even got 35 minutes into one video, which was a great video, and then it crashed. So that was really sad. Quite devastating for the morale of myself. Oh, what am I doing? Radio message. We have going north. All right. Very exciting news. Let's go up to standard. Not full, let's go up to standard. Got a new radio message. No, that was one we already read. So this time decreased in time compression came about because we've somehow been able to learn of this merchant ship, which is going north slow. So let's go ahead and range out the area it could be in an hour. Well, let's go 2 hours, which is 40, I think. So let's say this many knots for 2 hours. Well, let's just do 1 hour because it'll be a little more accurate, and then double that. Yeah, it's like 15 per hour, so 30 is what we're looking at. Let's actually do this, make it down here just so the... Something like this is what it could be in 2 hours, and that would be... Actually, it's pretty good. we can definitely catch up with this guy. And I think we can even make a deck gun run if we're lucky. So let's do something like this. I don't know which exact angle north he's going. There's certainly a cone. You know, I don't know when northwest begins, but maybe like this, like this. We don't know where in this cone he's going to be. We just know that if he continues, we know the arc he's going to be at if he's continually heading at a constant slow speed. So I'm going to guess that this will intersect with a lot of his potential courses. Every one of the lines we can make from here to the end of this arc is a potential course, as long as he doesn't change course before we find him. I think this intersects with a lot of them. So that is what we'll do. We'll do something like this, and I will just wait. Let's make sure our guys... our watch officer. Come on, man. So lazy. I might have to install that mod, because this guy's really annoying me. And it's only the very beginning. Now the good news is these guys will never tire, because I've given them all these medals. Which just makes it one less thing I have to worry about. It's kind of annoying to keep swapping everyone around. So let's go ahead and move pretty quick, but not so fast because aircraft. And let's go ahead and move ahead in time compression. And we'll probably dive very soon. Maybe just after passing the first potential arc. Okay, periscope depth. Let's hear where this guy is, because I think... yeah, we should be close enough to hear him no matter what. There she goes. I love that little emblem. It's so nice to see. Dive. I'm not going to ping the bottom because we don't need to know this just for the periscope depth. So, there she goes. And my favorite thing is always to watch her underwater. You can hear her, she's still using diesel right now. Now she's switching right there. Her propellers are stopped. She's switching over to batteries.
Current depth 10.
Yep, there she goes. People are now crewing the electric. It looks like, unfortunately, the 3 watch officers somehow moved into the electric engines, which is not what I wanted them to do. So let's go ahead and change those back. And one of these guys should not be... yeah, this guy's not like the others. And this guy is. So let's fix that. Good. And now we can get... actually, all these guys out of the bow torpedoes into diesel engines. They'll lose a little bit less endurance for now. But I need to move them out before we switch back to diesel engines. Alright, hydrophone operator, it's up to you. Give me something. Come on, man, give me something. Let's go down to slow. Oh, okay, there. Ooh, okay, so that's their direction. More or less something like this. Let's get that. Something like this. So that means their speed. How much distance did they cover, more or less? About 14. And it's been a little bit over an hour, right? We first made sound contact. No. It was like 10:10, right? We changed this when we saw them. So, yeah, it must have been around 10:15 or so. I think it was 10:10. That means that in about 70 minutes, they've gone, what was it, like 13? That's very slow. So let's go down to 70. And they've gone about 13. Actually, that makes perfect sense if they're going 6 knots. So we already have a very good estimate of their speed. And 6 is a number which is very common with merchants. So it actually makes a whole lot of sense. All right, well, we're in the hunt now. Let's go full surface. And I'm going to check the weather. I'm pretty sure it's good enough that we can make a deck gun run. So let's see. What will my approach be? I'm going to keep going exactly at this and this bearing. And then as we see him, we're going to go head on for a little bit to just minimize the chance that he sees us, spots us early, because he's going to call for reinforcements, of course. And then after that, as soon as we begin firing or he notices us, we'll go parallel to his course just to ensure that our that makes the your gunnery accuracy just a little bit better. Okay, so we have a plan. Looks like perfect weather for crewing the deck gun. Let's get our... Ah, damn it, I forgot to switch these guys up because now they all got messed up again. Damn it, anyhow. Okay, you, and one of you guys. Well, obviously you. And now you guys go, and there's our solid group of guys again. Go back to electric guns. We won't need anything except for... we won't need the torpedoes at all because we're going to sink this guy with deck guns. And it's nice, you don't always have good weather, so you should always take advantage of the good weather while you can. Alright, so let's just go ahead and spot this guy. And we'll crew the deck guns, but I'll leave it on a bit of a cliffhanger after that. Okay, this should be about the time where we just go a little bit further south. Because I don't have enough time to actually sink the ship with my deck guns in this episode. We'll just pause it right at the point where we're able to spot her. And I'm guessing that she's probably around here. Maybe 45, 50 degrees off. If we do that with our Uzo, let's see if we can find anything around here. Maybe not. You can always dive down and check again, but it's been another 20 or so minutes, so how far would she have gone? I should have marked, of course, her original bearing. I think this should be... Yeah, she should be right here. Should be close. Let's go a little bit further south. Okay. We do not have our watch officer. My mistake. And let's go ahead and get this... No. Let's get some fresh crew up there. Yep. And fresh. Perfect. Full speed ahead. I'm sure we'll spot her soon.
Ship spotted.
There it is. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and turn towards to limit our profile.
Ship spotted.
We're going to slow down a little bit because speed is not important. And then we're going to crew our deck guns. So I can actually do this from the bridge itself. Oh yeah, there she is for sure. And almost surely she's seen us. I'm going to lock my Uzo on her, just so we can keep track of her on the map. It'll be interesting to know, is she turning? Because that's the point at which she spotted us. Right now she's still going steady as she goes. Which means that, that our profile is small enough that she hasn't seen us yet. I'm almost sure this is a British ship. I will try to identify what it is. But let's just try to see what she is seeing. Hopefully I do this without being able to identify the flag. We are not entirely invisible. Oh yeah, we are. Jeez. Ah. Yeah, so we're about here. You can see the dot off in the distance, but it is nigh impossible. And that's because our profile is so narrow right now. But she'll see us soon. No doubt about it. Alright, well, Watchman. Give me deck guns. Give me crew on deck for the deck gun.
Yes, sir. Man the deck gun.
Aha! We're all set. And that is where I will bring this video to a close. I'll see you in the next episode where we sink our first ship. Thanks for watching, and until then, take care.